we are just going to do a little bit of a land walk here. And what that is I bring you with me while I walk through and see what needs to get done. So far, this looks like it's exactly where it needs to be. So we're not going to move that. I have to see if I can either knock some of these out the middle to make larger planting wells, or maybe just put some gravel in here for drainage. Oh, okay. I knew something had broken in here we had a really bad windstorm. So actually, as much as is like the compost thing is pretty bad. The wood's kind of askew over there. But in terms of what could have been a problem, this is way better than I thought. That's just absolutely destroyed, but it's something that's taken down, it's easy to fix. We had serious drainage issues right around here. It would get really swampy in that area there. So one of our big goals is to fix the drainage issues, which I'm going to try and do by, first of all, opening this up and changing up the way these rows are done, because obviously part of that is funneling the water. I'm trying to be very careful as I step, because I do know every once in a while there's snakes, or I don't know if there's any bees overwintering over here. I don't want to bother anybody. The snakes are all non-poisonous. I just don't want to bother anybody. Yeah, you can actually see we got a bunch of spiders over here hanging around, but you can actually see some green coming up here, which means I really got to get my ass moving. It's actually still really bad. Damn it. This is a very bad drainage issue here. The soil's compacted. Part of it is my fault, because I had moved things around and I dug out these like trenches almost in order to put the soil mounded onto these beds. That was a terrible idea. Whenever you are doing something like digging paths, make sure that you don't do what I did here. That this is literally a dip. I made a friggin' like man-made canal here. Don't do that, obviously. This, as you can see, also gets kind of swampy. Right now, this is not the best picture, because everything's going to look a little swampy as everything's melting. I honestly thought there was going to be a lot more snow still. This was meant to kill weed seeds over here. I'm really just... It's... Part of me is going, oh, it looks so bad. It doesn't look like it can sustain life. And it's... gotta remind myself that this is all part of building it back up. Nothing would grow on this mound here. This particular bed. I actually had seeded it. But it's very rocky, very compacted, like overly compacted, dense soil. So we're going to see if a cover crop can fix that. So the first thing, number one, that I can do is see that as a cover crop. I'll look at how low the clovers that I got for that can germinate. Looking at this, you can tell that this is kind of filled up with water and frozen, but it still has some drainage, so it has potential. I might put the portulaca here. I apologize if I butchered that phrase, that pronunciation. Okay, more broken wood and glass. These are going to theoretically be long beds that way. And actually what's under here, is it still... What's under here is... Oh! Alright, I startled somebody. I will stop doing that. I piled a ton of leaves under there, hoping that vermiculture would kind of kick in and that the worms would break them down. I don't know what that was. this is going to get broken down into smaller rows like the tomatoes. The other thing that I forgot to take into account, this is all downslope. Some of it is gentler, like this is such a slight downslope up on this plateaued area that you almost don't realize it. Here, I probably should have realized it's more of a downslope, but because I didn't have an issue with the way I dug the paths in these beds, because that worked perfectly, I didn't think about those, which is where all the water sits. So I have to figure out some drainage issues there. I have to look back at my notes. We have a lot of creeping Jenny starting up over here, which I don't completely mind. It's really good ground cover. It's not hurting anything. It hasn't choked anything out yet. Like other taller weeds are more of a problem. So that's coming back. There's a whole line of garlic under here. Where exactly? Not entirely sure, because I didn't mark it. I thought, oh, all I'm planting is garlic here. What I might do is put some greens or florals in there with the garlic. As you can see, this is, there's definitely a need to do an actual compost heap. That is not broken on that side. I'll take it, because one side is completely broken. It's just smashed, shattered. Alright, up here, so this is interesting. I'm getting a really good picture of where the heat stays, because that was also covered in maybe even more snow than this. That melted quickest, so that is the sunniest and warmest area. Up here, sorry, I thought I was hearing a mouse, but what I was hearing was that. But yeah, this is great. This is already giving me a lot more information than I thought I'd be getting. That's the thicket that I need to replace. That's all dead. I pulled it off of that tree so it didn't kill the tree and bring it down. It's actually getting very cold. But yeah, this gives me a really good understanding of what needs to get done when I was really worried about my timeline, but this is giving me a much better idea of that timeline, which is why I came over here. Because I need, to know what to do first, and I think it was freaking me out that I had this long to-do list, and I couldn't, like, cognitively handle figuring out what needed to happen first, and this is why. I need to come in here with my clippers. Kind of just, when the mint died, I just kind of stepped on all of it and figured, oh, this is a problem for future me. Well, future me is not particularly pleased with the way I did that, but alright, how is the elderberry here? Are we completely dead? No. Okay, you still have some give, that's good. Okay, we'll find out how this fared. You are not an elderberry. What are you? I don't know what this is. I did not put this here. Because the other elderberry is there. And then the other one is over there. So, we're going to find out what this is. Because I don't actually know. Sorry for manhandling you, buddy. Okay, so what I know that I can do, I think I can come through this whole area with some clippers and kind of clear it out. I'm not going to be pulling up any roots because we're moving to no-till, but also because a lot of these are perennials that are good for the pollinators, so I wouldn't want to do that anyway. What else? You can see the mess of... That tree looks much happier though. We didn't want that pulling down. We had some poison ivy issues over here, but it's worst back there. So we have to really find where those are and nip that in the butt. I know it's bud, but I also feel like butt, considering poison ivy, works fine. I have to sand this down and repaint it because I couldn't fit it into the shed. Okay, what do we got going over here? That's former poison ivy. That died, the poison ivy there, so that's good. This is weird, and I'm not going to think too hard about it. That's still go. Oh, I see what happened. Okay. We had some branches come down. I have to go into that hive. We shouldn't have any more buddies in there, but if something moved in, I don't want to really check it until I have my suit on, because if something did move in, there's a high chance it's something significantly more aggressive than my bees. These are growing out in a way I think I might have to, this is, I don't know if you can see this, it's right in the path. It's going to start getting over. Oh, a lot of this is due to, we had a really bad windstorm. So it brought down things in a way that it's knocked things over. Whoop, oh, ow, ow, stuck, okay. Let's not step on. I'm honestly almost debating unplugging this, but probably a really bad idea right now. Farther up the road here, so to speak, we have got, there was a huge pile I had made of, there it is. This is all poison ivy I had pulled out from here. And this originally hadn't had any plants on it. This was just a pile of bricks. So I think what I'm going to have to do is hit the whole pile with like the salt and vinegar boiling water thing. Figure out how I want to deal with the little hill here. And up there, I'm also going to have some issues with the poison ivy, but for now, start one space at a time. I did get 3 different wintergreen plants, so we are going to be naturalizing that in this area to try and replace the poison ivy, because what we've learned in permaculture, from the permaculture angle, is that the poison ivy, you know, has a reason for being the way it is and where it is, and we want to give back anything we take away. This is, are these poison ivy? No, these are just like the bittersweet, so that's fine to step on. We're over. Okay, so this is giving me a really good, I'll be able to look back at this when I'm not actively walking through and figure out what happens next, and that's what this is for. Excellent. Okay, good.